I don't fucking think so.
Welcome to Straight Reviews. There's no bullshit beyond the sign. Well, cross this off the must-see list because I finally get to see the new Godzilla. No, and I will see you in hell for bringing that one up again, lest we forget what the original OG did that one be. That's more like it. When I was a kid, the first ever Godzilla movie I ever watched, to my shock, wasn't even Godzilla, but an American remake created by Roland Emmerich, and the cartoon series that follows it. I hated that movie because one of my favorite actors, Matthew Broderick's career went to the worms, literally. And by the guy that did Stargate, Universal Soldier, and Independence Day of all people. And those are the movies on his list that I liked, because they didn't fall into the now make-the-same disaster movie over and over again, saying that he's been doing lately, with 2012 and Day After Tomorrow. It was not until I seen Godzilla 2000 that it all changed for me. I, like most people in the US and Canada, thought it was merely a sequel to the Godzilla I'd seen before. How wrong was I? It was not only a better movie, but a better Godzilla. It wasn't some computer-generated crap either. It looked like he was there in the flesh. I was well aware that guys in suits stepping on miniature cities since I watched Power Rangers before this, but none so real like this. I actually thought Tokyo was being attacked by a giant lizard. And that was exactly what they were going for.
Now, before I discuss the remake, I want to talk about the granddaddy of them all, the 1954 original. Now, most of you will call me a lunatic for even saying this, but the first Godzilla movie ever made was never heroic. In fact, it was a straight-up horror flick. Directed by Ishiro Honda, the movie itself was the godfather of Kaiju, or giant monster movies. This movie was commonly known as an expressionist film, much like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Only instead of World War I, it was meant to be one of the Hiroshima and the Nagasaki bombings. I'll get to the old film at a different time, but I can tell you the basic story. After a series of nuke tests, a monster awakens from beneath the sea, wreaks havoc across Japan. The monster's named Godzilla after an old folklore of the same name, and people work round the clock and debate on how to deal with the monster. Scientists want to study him, and the government wants him destroyed. The rest goes downhill from here. The movie spawned 29 films in 4 continuities, 30 in 5 if you count that piece of shit Emmerich flick. It also developed many spin-off kaiju films such as Mothra and Rodan, as well as spawning various television shows and video games. My personal favorite being Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Though to my surprise, the game wasn't the thing that drew me in, but the commercial. The announcer was announcing a fight between King Ghidorah and Godzilla, like it was a wrestling match.
The remake is made in 2014, 60 years after the first movie. Directed by Gareth Edward of Monsters fame, the film stars Bryan Cranston, Ken Watanabe, and Aaron Johnson as the main human characters.
You got Heisenberg, Katsumoto, and Kick-Ass in the same movie together, and the face-off against a giant lizard. And you hate this movie. Why?
Anywho, this movie starts out like any other Godzilla movies, having nukes and mysterious monsters pop out, one of which being Godzilla himself. It turns out all the nuke tests starting from 1954 were meant to destroy the title monster, but to no avail. Cranston plays Joe Brody, an American scientist whose family lives in Japan. He and his wife Sandra work at a nuclear power plant in the year 1999. On his birthday, Joe and Sandra are called in to investigate the strange seismic activity happening around the plant. One of which causes a leak, which causes Joe to seal the plant with his wife still inside. We flash forward to 2014, where his son Ford, played by Johnson, is a naval explosives expert. On leave, when he finds out his father, still in Japan, is arrested for trespassing in his former workplace.
Oh wow, Japan's cops got Heisenberg. Eat it, Hank.
Joe believes that what happened to the plant was no natural disaster after seeing similar circumstances that led to the disaster in the first place. Upon investigating the father-son duo discover that what should be hot with radiation is actually clean enough to breathe in. They get arrested and Brody says this line from the trailer. The only one not believing Walter White is off his rocker is Dr. Ashiro Serizawa, descendant of the original Serizawa, sans eye patch, played by Watanabe. As if that's not bad enough, Serizawa is housing a monster they dub Muto, or massive unidentified terrestrial organism, who is absorbing radiation and getting bigger. It breaks up and becomes the alternate ending to Breaking Bad by killing Joe, leaving Ford to be the main character. Ford does all he can to help, while at the same time tries to get home to his wife and kid, while Serizawa, with the help of the US military, discover that the Muto they found was a male, and is searching for his female mate. They try to fight it, but to no avail. To make matters worse, Godzilla arrives on the coast of Hawaii intent on hunting the monsters. So Serizawa tells the military what the audience has been screaming: let them fight, and we prepare for the battle of the right of the King of Monsters.
Now, many people are split in this movie and point out several problems. Godzilla not showing up often, Ford's acting, too much focus on the main women characters. Some problems I will solve when I review the original. However, bear in mind this movie takes its cues mostly from the original. It recreates the terror people felt during recent disasters that fell upon the past decade. 9/11, the Hurricane Katrina, the Sri Lankan tsunami, the Haitian earthquake, Fukushima, and the ice storm. And they personified them into the monsters we see rampaging onto the big screen. As for Ford's emotionless expression, come on, the guy was suffering from PTSD over the loss of his father and the fact that there are giant monsters rampaging throughout the world. Unlike us, the audience, who cheer for that sort of thing, a real-life person's brain would not be able to process that all if it hit him at once. As for Godzilla not showing up, he doesn't show up in the original film often either. Give it a rest. He's meant to be a disaster personified. We're not supposed to know when he comes, but when he does come, we are supposed to know that it could spell danger for us. This movie is great for remake standards, and I hope the same author and wrote it in future sequels. As usual, debate, argue, and let me know what I miss. Stay tuned.
What the hell was that? Oh no, it's Zilla. He's more poorly animated than before. You tuna-eating son of a bitch.
You do realize that was the yellow setting, right? You do realize you just killed something.
Comic SD does not kill, live action does. Give it a rest, continuity.